Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Lima Putri. Today, I will answer the question final examination from Miss Fitri Handayani. The subject is language acquisition. Okay, the question is, what is the definition of language acquisition? What is the definition of language acquisition device? What is the bilingual language acquisition? Explain about term of first language acquisition process and explain the difference between children language acquisition and oral language. Okay, the first question is, what is the definition of language acquisition stage? There are four main stages of normal language acquisition: the babbling stage, one word stage, two word stage, whole telegraphic stage. This stage can be broken down even more into the smaller stage: pre-production, early production, speech emergent, beginning fluency, intermediate fluency, and advanced fluency. Okay, the stage number one is babbling stage. Within a few weeks of being born, the baby begins to recognize its mother's voice. There are two sub-stages within this period. The first occurs between birth 8 months. Most of this stage involves the baby relating to its surroundings, and only during 5 or 6 until 8 month period does the baby begin using its vocal. For example, body language and gesture. Okay, stage number 2 is one word stage. The second stage of language acquisition is the holographic or one word stage. This stage is characterized by one word sentence. This stage nouns make up around 50% of the infant's vocabulary, while verbs and modifiers make up around 30%, and questions and negatives make up the rest. For example, a baby might cry or say mama when it fully wants attention. The infant is ready to advance to the next stage when it can speak in successive one-word sentence. Stage number 3 is two-word stage. The two-word stage is made up primarily two-word sentence. The sentence contains I word for the predicate and I word for the subject. For example, doggy wolf. For the sentence, the doggy is beginning wolf. During this sentence, we see the occurrence of single modifiers that dog to word question mommy eat. Okay, stage number 4 is telegraphic stage. The final stage of language acquisition is the telegraphic stage. This stage is named as it's because it's similar to what is seen in a telegram, containing just enough information for the sentence to make sense. This stage contains many 3 and 4 word sentences. For example, mommy eat carrot, or what her name, or he is playing ball. Okay, question number 2. What is the bilingual language acquisition device? Language acquisition device was proposed by Noam Chomsky to explain how children, when exposed to any human language, are able to learn it within only a few years following birth. Chomsky argued that all humans are born with the knowledge of what makes a human language. According to Chomsky, humans are born with the language acquisition device, but other species are not. Chomsky's view of the language acquisition device is consistent with there being specific structure in the brain involved in language learning and language processing. Okay, next. Question number 3. What is the definition of bilingual language acquisition? Bilingual language acquisition is a common and informal childhood experience Bilingual language acquisition estimate that there may be as many children who grow up learning two languages as one. Despite this, childhood bilingualism is fairly understood by many and regarded with skepticism by others. They are part of bilingual language acquisition are the first is learning the language in childhood is difficult and can result in delays in language development. Next, bilingual children have less exposure to each of their language than monolingual children. As a result, they never master either language fully, and compared to monolingual children, they never become as proficient. After that, young bilingual children can keep their language pairs. They use both at the same time. They are obviously confused. Next, using both languages in the same sentence or conversation is bad. Parents can discourage and even prevent their children from doing this by making sure that each of them use one and only one language with their child at all times. The same goes for other adults who interact with the child. And the last, what are the most important things for parents of early childhood educators to know about early childhood bilingualism? Bilingual acquisition is a common and normal childhood experience. Bilingual acquisition is facilitated if children have sustained a rich and varied experience in both languages. Parents can facilitate bilingual proficiency by using the language they know best and by using it in varied and extensive ways. Okay, next question is explain about the term of first language acquisition process. Language acquisition is the process whereby children acquire their first language. All humans have an innate capability to acquire language. Children might acquire one or more first language. For example, children who grow up in an environment in which only English is spoken and heard will acquire only English as their first language. However, children who grow up in an environment in which both German and English are spoken and heard equally will acquire both German and English as the first language. Acquisition depends on children receiving linguistic input during the critical period. The critical period is defined as the window of time up to about the age of 12 or puberty in which humans can acquire first language. Children must receive adequate linguistic input including phonology, speech sounds, semantic vocabulary and meaning. Grammar is syntax or word order and morphology or grammatical markers, and pragmatic use and contents and prosody, intonation, rhythm, and stress. Language acquisition is a process that takes place in the brain of a child when they acquire his first language or mother tongue. Language acquisition is usually dissociated from the language learning. Language learning is related to the process that occurs when a child learns a second language after he has obtained his first language. Okay, the last question is what is the difference between children language acquisition and foreign language? Language acquisition is the process by which humans acquire the capacity to perceive and comprehend language, as well as to produce and use words and sentences to communicate. Language acquisition involves structure, rules, and representation. The capacity to successfully use language requires one to acquire a range of tools including phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, and an extensive vocabulary. And foreign language is a language not widely spoken and used by the people of community, society, nation. For example, Spanish is a foreign language in Canada. Foreign language is a language originally from other country than the speaker. Some children learn more than one language from birth or from a very young age, then they are bilingual or multilingual. Different children language acquisition and foreign language such as the first is student-teacher ratio. Is a comparison between the number of students and teacher. For children language acquisition, the ratio between the number of student and teacher is ideal. Students are few and there are many teachers. In the foreign language, the number of students is larger and can reach 45 children per class, while the number of teachers is only 1. The second is place of study. Place of study is a place where children learn the target language. At the time of learning mother tongue, place of study or a place to study the children can be anywhere or everywhere. This can happen because the mother tongue teacher is parents, siblings, relatives, and anyone who speaks regional language. Flexible place condition. Flexible are an ended value for the success of children language acquisition because the atmosphere can be relaxed, natural, and not tensy. The place of study of foreign language is generally limited to school because schools have strict rules and limited hours. Opportunities for children to practice foreign language are far from adequate. Next, time teaching hours. Because the flex is flexible, which can be anywhere, children language acquisition has more time. The unlimited time, if used as teaching hours, becomes a lot of. From the child side, teaching hours are the same as learning hours. And foreign language, teaching hours are limited. That means the study hours are also limited. This condition must be used as a way for the parents or the child himself to take the time to increase foreign language skill by studying alone, reading books, and then practicing on his own. Okay, next situation. Situation is a learning situation or atmosphere for children language acquisition. The learning atmosphere is natural, or not engineered, but in the foreign language learning, the opposite. Okay, next motivation. Motivation is a motivation or drive that is relatively strong and underlies an action. Motivation is classified as integrative when someone learns language with the intention to assimilate oneself, integrate oneself into the culture of the speakers of the language learned. When children learn language acquisition, they have interactive motivation because they want to enter into the culture of the family community and surrounding community. In learning foreign language like English, the motivation of students is not classified as integrative, but rather instrumental. Viewed from the source, motivation can be divided into two. The first is internal motivation and external motivation. Okay, the last critical period. Critical period is a critical period of the best time for language learning. For children language acquisition, the critical period is at the age of 2 until 10. If the period is paced, the child is difficult to master the mother tongue smoothly and well. The critical period of learning a foreign language like English is 12 until 13 years. If that period is passed, then student also will not have a pronunciation that is as good as native speaker. At most, it can only approach it. This one problem by students in the English department who were intensive after the critical age had passed. Okay, thank you very much for today. I'm so sorry for our mistake. And goodbye and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.